What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. Today's video, we're going to take a look at my Legend run in Season 16 with none other than Skeledirge. Honestly, all right, so I'm going to be real with y'all, all right? This team is a balanced team. You know, that's not my usual thing. But I put it together because I had been in the 2900s for a little bit in the Great League, and I had seen a very consistent theme of Ice and Medicham and Deoxys and things like that. So I put a team together around Skeledirge that was more of a balanced line that really took the approach of win, lead, win, you know, whatever's in the back kind of thing. So this is going to be the 3 sets. You'll notice there's 3 sets. And I'm not going to lie, y'all. There was a lot of top lefts in these games. So let's get into the games here and see what happens. We got Superior on the lead in the first game. Skeledirge, gonna go ahead. I'm gonna stay in and get a couple of Incinerates off and then pop in with my Dugong, and I'm probably just gonna farm this down. If the dig doesn't do too much damage here, what I'm going to look to do is farm down. So the dig, not doing too much here. I can definitely live another one if I need to. The opponent has enough energy for it. And I can get an entire farm down with this thing without having to throw any energy or put up a shield, which is huge. And I'm able to get 2 Icy Winds loaded for the Superior. So I'm going to load, or I'm going to unload them rather, into the opponent's Superior as it comes back in. And we are going to go ahead and get either a shield or a lot of damage on the Superior. Now, this is like a real nice team here for me because it's like it's the 3 Pokemon that are in the Great League right now that I love the most, right? Skeledirge, just really cool design, one of my favorite Pokemon. Opponent decides they don't want to play this out, they know they lost, and that's a good game into the next one. But, you know, Superior, you guys know I love Superior in this meta, and Dugong has been my favorite safe swap. So I was very happy that I was able to hit it, and the opponent goes into Tapu Fini. I counter with my Superior, and they said, nah, dude, I'm not doing this. Next. there was a lot of like, it was from everybody who was like, dude, I'm just not playing this out. Like Skeledirge really just broke the teams that bad. Like they got hard countered on the lead. I give them the Superior or I give them the Dugong, and they're just like, nope, I'm good. You can have it. And you're gonna see. I think there was at least like 5 top left games in these 3 sets. And now I put 3 sets in. Normally I only do 2, but because there were so many of those top lefts, I could fit all 3 in here now. And these are all 3 sets. Like I didn't cut any games out. This is all of them. So I went 5-0 to start in this first set. Then I went 2-3, dropped a little bit, was a little hesitant, saw some nasty, really bad matchups in that set, and then I went 5-0 afterwards. And then we could call, you know, oh well, you just got paid actor to legend, and I'm like, honestly, if I did get paid actored, at least I did it against people who brought real teams, because nobody brought, like, you know, 10 CP Pokemon or anything. Now, I try to go for a full farm down on my Superior here, and unfortunately, I'm not able to get it. My opponent hard counters my Dugong with a Bastiodon, which is a really interesting thing to have behind a Nidoqueen, but I digress. I have a lot of energy to throw into the Nidoqueen if they bring it in, but instead they bring in Medicham. So I'm going to throw Frenzy Plant regardless. I did blind throw. I could have gone for, you know, the Aerial Ace. I'm just going to dump all my energy into my opponent here. And with Skeledirge being as good of a counter into Nidoqueen as it is, I just need to make sure that I'm properly going to call an Earth Power if they decide to go for it. So Power Up Punch, not going to do anything. Opponent going to come straight back in with Nidoqueen. Those Incinerates are ripping through the Nidoqueen. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shield. And I'm like, you know what? If this is a Poison Fang, I lose. But thankfully, it was the Earth Power. And I'm going to be able to Incinerate down. Opponent just now getting to this Poison Fang here. If it's a Poison Fang. Now, if this was an Earth Power, I'm like, oh, please, no. I didn't think they had enough energy, but I wasn't honestly counting. But I've got 2 Disarming Voices ready to go. Going to get the shield and then take out the opponent in this game. And we're going to move on to the next game right after this, as soon as we finish throwing these Disarming Voices by Medi. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there were so many teams that were just like, the Ghost Fire. It was so good. So if you don't have Skeledirge, right, you could play Alolan Marowak if you want to. You could also try Talonflame. That's another really interesting thing here. But Lantern is probably one of the dirtiest things for this team to see. I do not do well against Lantern. I hate Lantern. I always build teams that are weak to Lantern. I don't know why I do it. It's just I hate that fish so much that I just say, you know what, I'm just going to take a loss against Lantern if I see it. But Dewgong having Drill Run does have quite a bit of play against the Lantern here, so that's going to be my safe swap of choice, especially if they're running a Water Gun Lantern. And then I can just go for this. And now that leaves it pretty low, right? Like, this is actually manageable for my Skeledirge, and my opponent goes into a Superior catching what they think is a Drill Run, but I've gone for Icy Wind here because they were low enough, and I'm able to do the super effective damage, and I'm coming in with Skeledirge after they've had an attack drop. I'm farming this thing all the way down, and that's going to give me the energy that I'm hopefully going to be able to push into that Lantern after the opponent's Superior goes down. So I've got 2 Disarming Voices. The Lantern comes back in. I should be able to go for both of these charge moves here and take it out. They just swapped, so if Lantern comes back in, they can't swap out. And here's the neat thing about Skeledirge. If you have 100 energy, you get to a Shadow Ball, and you get to a Disarming Voice. Now, this was a CMP tie here. I need to keep... I was going to say, man, I want to keep this alive. But Surf does not KO the Skeledirge. I was expecting it to just because it's my luck, and I was going to farm down with Superior, but the opponent has a Venusaur in the back, but because I have a shield, I'm going to be able to get to these Aerial Aces here. It's going to be 5 to the first Aerial Ace for me, and 5 to the next. My opponent would need 6 to get to the first Frenzy Plant, and then 7 to the first Sludge Bomb. So they're not going to be able to pace here. Even if they went for back-to-back Frenzy Plants, this is a safe shield for me. The opponent baits, but they still need, I think, 2 more to get to that Sludge Bomb, so I can safely just go straight for the Aerial Ace and take out the opponent's Venusaur, and that is going to be a good game despite that nasty little Lantern. Getting into the next game, we've got a Hippowdon. Dude, this is all right. This is a legend running some spice, and I respect it. But watch this game, okay? This looked easy until I saw the last Pokemon on their team, and then I started like, oh no, this is not good. So opponent gonna. Hopefully they're not going to shield this, but I mean, I should have gone for the Shadow Ball, to be honest. But I'm going to swap into my Dewgong. They have Weather Ball, Rock, and they have Earth Power. So they're going to hit me with the Shadow boosted Earth Power, and then their Hippowdon's going to go down. And then they're going to come in with a... They're thinking about it. They don't know what's coming. They're going to come with Whimsicott. So clearly, they are not happy to see Dewgong in the back, because their best answer to this is it's Whimsicott. So I'm going to have a good time here. I have 2 shields. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shield once here. The opponent swaps into a Drifblim, and that's why I'm a little bit scared, because now my Superior is not looking so good. So I have to stay in this matchup. And because I get the Icy Wind first, this should be a little bit easier for me to be able to take this thing out. I'm going to shield once more because I want to get both their shields down, and then potentially, you know, maybe look to swap in or something. But the thing is here is this is very difficult because that Drifblim could get to a Shadow Ball before my before my Skeledirge can get to a Shadow Ball, or before my Superior gets to any real damage here. So I'm just going to let them take me out, right? They have to throw energy in order to take me out here. I'm going to come in with my Superior, and I'm not going to be able to get to a move before they get to the Mystical Fire, but because they are double debuffed, this won't do too much damage, and then I can have an Aerial Ace ready to go. For the Whimsicott that comes in, I'm going to undercharge it. I don't remember how much HP they have left, but it wasn't enough. I'm going to come in with Skeledirge and look to get this farm down. My opponent threw energy as soon as they had it, and I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball for the KO, navigating around what was honestly just a difficult Drifblim. Everything else was thankfully, I mean, it's spicy, but it's still damage, and it's still, I have to play around it. So, able to take the win there. And in the next game, we've got a Medicham on the lead, and this is exactly why I started to play Skeledirge. They come in with a Steelix. And this is, however, a very unfortunate thing for them to come in with for me, because I don't really have a super strong response, but I really want to keep Switch here. So they're going to go for the Breaking Swipe. I'm going to throw one more Incinerate so I can get my move off here with good timing. And then I think what I should have done here was probably come in with Dewgong. But I come in with Superior. If you see a Steelix safe swap, probably better to come in with Dewgong. If I remember this game correctly, it's because they have a Carbink in the back, and that is going to be just a really not so great thing for me. So I'm going to go and make sure I'm throwing with as good timing as possible to maximize the amount of energy that my Superior is gaining in this situation, and going to be able to get the farm down here against this Steelix. Not taking too much damage, but taking those debuffs is not so great, right? Because now this Medicham can pretty easily just farm me all the way down here, and I really can't do much about it because I'm debuffed and I can't swap. Because, I mean, yeah, maybe they swapped Steelix in. Maybe that was a bad matchup for it. But they're not going to necessarily have two things in the back that are weak to Skeledirge. So I'm going to shield up my Skeledirge. I feel like it has the value here. They go for the Psychic, and I figure they're probably going to go for it, and there's the Carbink. So if I had... and it makes sense, right? Carbink and Medicham, right? Carbink is going to handle those... it's going to handle those flyers, right? So I'm going to go for the Icy Wind early here. I want to start to limit the amount of damage that their Rock Throws and Rock Slides do. And it gets the shield. And at that point, I'm like, okay, maybe there's a chance here. But honestly, my opponent can get to 2 Rock Slides before I can get to 2 more Drill Runs. And even then, I don't think it's going to be enough to KO here. So we're going to see, though. I'm going to try to, with as good of the timing as I can possibly get here. That Medicham does have some energy loaded, so I have to be careful with it. Going to go for the Drill Run here if I can get to it. My opponent gets to a charge move. I don't know if I live this Rock Slide with 1 debuff. Yeah, that's going to come too close to KOing, unfortunately. And my opponent swaps in the Medicham to snipe me, and they're able to get to the energy. So I would have been in a much better spot here for sure if I had just gone in with the Dugong against the Steelix. It's pretty safe when I take out half of their Steelix before they can deal with my Dugong. But anyway, another nasty matchup on the lead here. We've got an Umbreon, a safe swap into my Dugong. My opponent has a Registeel. They don't respect fighters at all. Another Registeel would be very difficult for this team, but I just happened to see them with Skeledirge and Dugong. Now, Dugong has play against Registeel here, though. Especially if they give me some energy advantage, I should be able to get to 2 moves here. Now, what I'm really interested in, though, is getting the farm down. My opponent knows that they don't KO, so they can get the farm down off of me with this. But they will have to shield if they want Switch. But the other thing, too, is that while I would like Switch, it's like, is it really worth it, you know, for this little farm down? So they go for the Focus Blast. And then I come up with Skeledirge to start getting the farm down. Maybe I should have come up with Superior and got a better farm down. But I swap immediately into Superior, and they have a Shadow Gligar on the back. And with 2 shields to 2 shields, their fast move damage is going to add up so much that there's not really much that I can do here. And I even go for a bait with the Aerial Ace, and they just don't fall for it. And at this point, I kind of know I've lost. As soon as they no shield that bait, I'm at this point where I'm like, dude, there's no way that I win this game. Even though that Skeledirge has Disarming Voice, it's not going to be able to take out an Umbreon from full HP. And the opponent actually stops tapping so that I get less farm on my Skeledirge. So they recognize that Disarming Voice is not good for me. But they have so much energy that they're going to be able to bait me with this Aerial Ace, and then they're going to come straight in with the Umbreon, and I have yet to hit Umbreon with a Disarming Voice. But as you're going to see, it's going to do very pitiful damage, and there's no way that I was going to get to like another 3 or 4 Disarming Voices to take out the opponent before they were going to be able to take out my Skeledirge. So I let it go, and I see yet another Umbreon. And I'm like in full disparage mode because I just got this 5-0, and I'm like, dude, all I got to do is like get a 4-1 and I'm in Legend, and I've already lost like 2 games. So we see another trainer that has absolutely no respect for Registeel or really any like fighting type. So I don't understand. I mean, I know that Umbreon is like super neutral and super good into a lot of things, but like Umbreon with Carbink in the back, why would you do that to yourself? I don't know, but I still have to play this out. I respect the teams that my opponents bring, despite them not making sense to me. Perhaps they make sense at the ELO, just like the same way that my team makes sense at the ELO that I was at. Unfortunately, I did just kind of have one set where I just did not see the things that I built this team for. But thankfully, we are going to see that there are some games, especially in the last set, where this team did exactly what it was supposed to do. Now, I see my opponent come in with a fire type, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, no, they have a Alolan Marowak. Now, I think that in hindsight, maybe I should have tried to play this out. But I was just like, dude, of all the things that you could possibly have given me, an Umbreon in the lead and an Alolan Marowak in the back, I'm like, nah, dude, I'm done. But then we get an Alolan Ninetales, and everything suddenly seems okay again. And they just quit. Either they had many in the back and they just didn't want to deal with it, or like, whatever, dude. And then there's a Buzzwole in the next game. I'm like, dude, this is exactly why I'm playing Skeledirge. Opponent comes in with Lickitung. I have to come up with Superior because Dugong is not a matchup I want to see here. Now, here's the thing. I played this a little worse than I could have. I think that the Frenzy Plant is definitely enough here, right? Like, I should have absolutely just gone straight for the energy. But what I do here is I make a mistake and I go for over farming, and I think I go for it by a lot. And I was trying to get it down at Aerial Ace range, and they throw a move here right before, and now I'm forced to shield. But I'm not keeping track of their energy as well as I should, especially because of that head start they got from that Incinerate. So I'm like, all right, I'll go for 2 aerial aces and then I'll throw, and they just happen to have it right there. And I'm like, come on, man. So I'm going to go for a little bit more energy here after wasting both my shields because I need switch, right? We can't let Dugong see the Buzzwole. Opponent lets it go, has 2 shield advantage. And I go for a couple of these. I go up to 2 and my opponent catches on a lantern. And I'm like, dude, there's no way. This person is just destroying me. So I'm just going to go for a Last Ditch Frenzy Plant. At least I can get a shield from this person. And they don't shield it. Like, what are they going to do? Put 2 shields into the Buzzwole, and then they knew they lost. I don't know. But I'll take it. I'll take it. We get Skeledirge into a low and Sandslash. Once again, another Ice Lead that I was expecting. They come in with an Azumarill. I pop in Superior, and they're like, dude, I'm not playing this game. I'm out. Good game. And yes, maybe it was some Legends top lefting because they saw, but it's like, you get hard countered like that. There's another person, they're like, I'm not doing it, man. I'm not playing this out. So we get into an expert game here where the opponent's got an Alolan Ninetales. And then they come in with a Swampert, and I'm like, okay, this person's either going to top left or they're going to try and play it out. So here we're going to play it out, right? So the opponent's going to go for a move. Naturally, I've got a Grass type. I'm not going to shield this, right? Wrong! Sludge Wave does a ton of damage to Superior. However, because the Mud Shots are resisted and this is not a Shadow Swampert, thankfully, I will be okay here. Now, the opponent was rocking Shadow Swampert. That would have been a problem. Because that would have one-shot me and I would have been obliterated. And then, yeah, Skeledirge is not going to be doing too great when it doesn't have alignment like that. So, opponent's going to come back in with their Ninetales, get that 1 charm off. I'm going to throw my Frenzy Plant here in order to get this damage in or get a shield. Opponent doesn't shield it because they know that they're aligned to Skeledirge, and that's a problem for them. They have a Marsh Stomp in the back. At least I think that's what that was. I know it is because I played the battles, but then I come in with my Dugong, and at that point, the opponent does concede because, like, Dugong is just going to Icy Wind down, and that's a good game. So, into the next team, we've got Gligar. I've got a better answer in the back. And with energy, my Superior and my Skeledirge do damage here. So, opponent comes in with their Medicham. As we've seen, you guys have seen the Deoxys Double Ice video I did yesterday. This is a very normal occurrence, and this is exactly why I put Dugong on the safe swap. Because even in bad matchups, the coverage that Skeledirge has, if I can give it a farm down, it's good. Now, every Medicham is now suddenly running Dynamic Punch, and a few of you enlightened me in my comments section yesterday, so I appreciate that. But because they're running Dynamic Punch, I have a very strong feeling that they're either running Psychic, and I don't care because it's debuffed, or they're running Ice Punch, which means I really don't care, and I can tank all this damage. I'm going to go for the full farm down right now, dude. I'm not. And I got a Pokestop Showcase reward right at 8 o'clock. It was nice. I was like, what the heck is this? Ice Punch, not doing much. Going full farm down, dude. This is what is going to make this thing tick. The opponent comes in with the Water Gun Lantern. And I'm like, please, Lord, why have you done this to me? Not another Lantern. So I'm going to empty all of my energy into the Lantern. What I want to get here is a shield advantage, okay? I want to get the shield advantage so that my Superior can come in, get to 2 moves, and against the Gligar here, I'm going straight for the Frenzy Plant. I learned from last time, don't go for the Aerial Ace. They think they can take it, and they will. Frenzy Plant goes and gets the Gligar down to about half HP, and at this point, my win condition is 110% with my Superior. Now, because of the energy lead that my opponent gave me, we are now at the same count for Aerial Ace. It takes us both 5 moves to get to the Aerial Ace, so I'm winning CMP against Gligar because Gligar is a very low attack stat, so I know that I can shield this, have a lot of HP left, or at least enough, hopefully, to deal with the Lantern, and because the Lantern is so low, I really don't need to do too much to it, thankfully. Well, it's not, I wouldn't say it's low. It's just within Frenzy Plant range. Like, that's what I need to do. So I'm going to go for the Frenzy Plant here. If they throw a Thunderbolt before I get there, I'm screwed. But they don't get to it. I think that might have even been CMP. But the Frenzy Plant is going to win CMP against the stupid fish. And that's going to take out the Lantern, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. And we're getting into the final match here, the one that decides legend, because at this point I was about 40 points away and I wasn't 100% sure if the 4-1 was going to do it. Now my opponent and I CMP on turn 15 here, which means they've thrown 5 Dragon Tails, and I don't know if this is a crunch, so I'm going to give up a shield here just in case, because if they're staying in with Steelix, there's a solid chance there's a Medicham back there, and I'm going to pop in with my Dugong at some point here, but I'm going to do one more Incinerate to get some energy, and the opponent would have to throw, because they were at 5, right? So then they would have had to throw their Breaking Swipe pretty much right away. And then they have Medicham, and this is actually not as great because it's Medicham after the debuff. of the breaking swipe. So I'm not going to be able to get as much damage off against this Medicham, but I'm able to get one debuff off with my Dugong here. Unfortunately, we do CMP, and I'm like, all right, well, you want to throw the energy? That's fine with me. They have Dynamic Punch, just like most other Medis do, so I come in with my Skeledirge, and because my Skeledirge took some damage already from the Steelix, I do have to throw energy here. So I'm trying to leave this all up to Superior at this point to try and do something here. And as soon as they come in with this Bastion, and I'm just like, they have Basti behind his Steelix, ABA Steel, are you kidding me? I throw with horrible timing there. Switch timing is something that still eludes me sometimes. I'm going to go for the Frenzy Plant. My opponent also throws right away, though, fortunately, so I get my Vine Whip back, and I'm going to shield. They should have thrown a Flamethrower there, but they don't. My opponent comes in with the Steelix. They're looking to debuff me, and I'm like, this is really, really bad. This is not good. My opponent shields up the Frenzy Plant, once again throws right away. Not really seeing the need to throw with good timing here, but I mean, that's better for me. So I'm going to go for this Frenzy Plant here with good timing, knowing I can overfarm and get to 6 Vine Whips before the opponent can throw another Breaking Swipe. This will KO, but how low am I? Gonna go for 1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as I got the Frenzy Plant, dude, I'm getting out of there. I'm 1 away from the Shadow Ball. We throw the Shadow Ball, and you know what wins CMP over Bastion, everybody? It's Superior, and it's in range for this Frenzy Plant to KO, and I'm losing my mind. If y'all saw the stream, you knew I was losing my mind. We take out the Bastion, and that's going to be a good, close game despite all those top lefts. I did have to earn a few, and that's going to be a 5-0 to clinch Legend, everybody. That's it. That's the Legend run. Thank y'all so much for showing up in the stream if you were able to. Clean over the line there, not even close. I don't even know if a 4-1 would have done it, but I'm getting this Gita pose, and we're gonna put it on, and y'all, it's just, that was such an incredible meta call. I mean, I don't think this team is honestly gonna work super great in all other, you know, parts of the Great League. This was a very specific, like, I am playing this team because I've seen these things, and because when you're like up in the 2800s, the meta's a bit more condensed because a lot more people are running, you know, they're running what they're running because it worked to get them there. So you're gonna see a lot of people that are doing stuff like that, and that's what made the Skeledirge team work as well as it did. So, you know, a couple closing thoughts, right? Superior still remains to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest grass type, on par with Venusaur. Dugong is a really strong safe swap as long as you have something in the lead that can take advantage of the Icy Wind debuffs, like we brought a Medicham, right? And that'll allow you to farm down with whatever's in the lead. In this particular case, I chose Skeledirge. That was the strategy I went in with, right? I took Skeledirge as the core breaker lead that was going to put me in a good spot, and then I put Dugong back there to take advantage of being able to lure out a Medicham in the back to farm down and get energy. And then we also put Superior back there because I just believe it's one of the best closers, sweepers, whatever you want to use the name for it. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, you know, we've got usual plugs for Patreon and coaching, but, you know, that's all stuff that you guys have already heard before. And if you haven't, check out the link in the description for that. You also get 15% off your first Medify session with me if you use the coupon code. So thank you all so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.